want you to think through these, okay? So you have 12 different problems, and first things first, I'm going to suggest strategy. And my first strategy is find angles that you are comfortable with. So for example, these are ones that you should be comfortable with. Notice I'm not even going to talk about the trig function. I don't care, okay? I should be okay with 60. I should be okay with 45. I should be okay with negative 30. And then, keeping in mind just our first quadrant only, I should be okay with pi over 2. I should be okay with pi over 6. And rotating pi shouldn't be so bad. Now, notice I haven't said one word about the trig function itself. Okay? Step 2. My suggestion notice first of all, that's half the problems. Okay? When I go and start this, you're not going to have time to draw a complete unit circle. There's just not enough time. But I still can depend on quadrant 1. Now, if I were to give you maybe 2 things that you need to memorize, quadrant 1 might be it. You might just straight up need to memorize. Now, in a minute, I'm going to have you do something kind of kinesthetic, like physical, so you can feel quadrant 1. But if you can't feel it, then yes, you just got to memorize it. I should be able to rattle off 30 degrees as root 3 over 2, 1/2. Once I know this, flipping it for 60 should be no big deal. Then, naming 45 as an ordered pair, you gotta just know that's root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. Okay? I don't care how you do that, but just somehow you gotta know 45 is root 2 over 2, root 2 over 2. And really, I only need to know one of those because both sides are the same. Okay. So I've got 30, 60, and 45 like that. Notice I also have this ordered pair. Now look, if you miss this ordered pair, then you got to somehow switch this in your brain. But where is that ordered pair? That's your issue. That's 1, 0. And then this is 0, 1. Now if you miss that, that's like back to pre-algebra, but just so as a reminder, that's your x, then your y, and that's 1 out, 0 up. Okay. So notice, here's something else you might just need to memorize, but the trick is that it's alphabetical. If I ask you for the meaning of the ordered pair XY, what is it? Okay, so if you need a trick, the trick is it's alphabetical. Now, I would love if you just know cosine goes with x and sine goes with y, right? That would be more important. But in the long run, it's alphabetical. Okay, so one other thing that you might need to memorize is your radians. So if I said, hey, what radian goes with 30 degrees? Can you tell me fast?
36.
Yeah, it's just opposite numbers, right? So what goes with 60 degrees? Okay, and then, so again, somehow you just got to get these in your head. And I don't care if you make flashcards. You can make a flashcard with 30 degrees, pi over 6. 60 degrees, pi over 3. What's the radians for 45?
Pi over 4.
Okay, this is just 0. What's the radians for 90?
Half pi.
Pi over 2. Okay, Josh.
Can we also, can you tell us how to memorize the one where it's like x over y equals tangent and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm going to get to that. Some of that you're just going to have to memorize, right? So tangent is y over x, cotangent's reciprocal, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Now, before we do anything, you're just going to rattle some things off for me, okay? So I'm going to give you a radian, you're going to give me a degrees, okay? You ready? And then I'm going to go the other way, so be ready. 30 is? 60 is? Don't just stick as a normal speed, okay? 45 is? 90 is? Okay, we're going to go the other way. Pi over 6 is? Pi over 3 is? Pi over 4 is? Pi over 2 is? Okay, so I got like at least 5 of you not saying a word, okay? So we're going again, and this is where, listen, you've got to get on board. As much as you're like, I hate this and I hate you, which is possibly all true currently, we've got to get on board this. You've got to know these, know these, know these. Here we go. Pi over 6 is? Pi over 3 is? Pi over 4 is? Pi over 2 is? 45 degrees is? 60 degrees is? 30 degrees is? That's better. Okay, we're gonna do one more time. Ready? Jake, are you with me?
Yeah, I've been saying.
Are you telling the truth? Yeah, you're gonna have to go. Now I believe you. Okay, ready? 30 degrees is? 45 degrees is? 60 degrees is? 90 degrees is? Okay, now I'm going to do it random. 45 is? 30 is? 90 is? 60 is? Okay, that's much better. Okay, you starting to feel it a little bit? Okay, so here's one other way to memorize the first quadrant. Okay? Common error, people accidentally flip these. And when they accidentally flip these, it throws off literally about 2/3 of them, right? Okay, I want you to take your hand, I want you to put it horizontal. And this is going to feel lame, but suck it up. Okay, when I go 30 degrees, that y value is what? Yes, it's 1/2. Now, how do I know? Because 60 degrees is bigger. Root 3 over, do it like 4 times. Root 3 over 2 is bigger. So I'm going to make you say this. Stick with me for a minute. This is 1/2. This is root 3 over 2. Okay. We're going to do it again. Ready? Now, if you just go like this, 1/2 root 3 over 2, it's not going to be helpful. So the point is to physically feel the difference in size, right? 1/2 root 3 over 2. 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 2 more times. Ready? 1/2 root 3 over 2. 1/2 root 3 over 2. Now listen. Well, you tell me. It's the y, right? Now, here's the thing though. If I know the y, don't I automatically know the x? Okay, so if I say, what is the sine of 30 degrees, what are you going to tell me?
1/2.
And what's the sine of 60?
Root 3 over 2.
Do you see how that automatically helps? Now watch. Hang on. If I say, what's the sine of 30 and switch it to what is the cosine of 30?
Root 3 over 2.
Right. Why?
It's inverse.
Because you just switch, right? Yeah. So if I say what's the, because we're not on this yet, right? But I'm just trying to give you ways to learn this. If I say what's the cosine of 30, well, I just taught you a way to remember the sine of 30. Well, the sine of 30 is what? 1/2. So what's the cosine of 30? Yeah, because it's the long side, right? So if I say, hey, what's the cosine of 60? Yes, because you know the sine of 60 is,
Root 3 over 2.
and the cosine is 1/2. Okay, now, make sense? That's all sorts of ways, yeah.
I don't know if you're like willing to tell us this, but how many questions are on the quiz tomorrow?
It literally looks just like this.
And how
Looks
looks
like this.
have 6 minutes?
Yes.
So,
Okay, so now we're going to go a little faster, right? But those are all sorts of ways to get a feel for understanding and remembering. Okay, so let's just start with 45, okay? So I go to the angle first, trig function second. 45 degrees, I know is here. Secant is the reciprocal of cosine. Those are opposite letters, okay? It's annoying, I understand that, I agree with you, but it's what it is. So, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. Cosine is what?
Root 2 over 2.
Yep. So I just literally take the reciprocal.
On that one, it doesn't matter.
No, you do not have to rationalize on this quiz. There's just not enough time. Okay? I know. Okay? Let's go to cotangent of negative 30. Okay? Negative 30, now watch, goes into quadrant 4. Okay? Yeah. So I noticed, that's a separate issue. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay. That's down here. So all I'm going to do is quickly take the coordinate and write what I need. What should this coordinate be? No. No. Root 3 over 2. Okay. All right. So tangent is what? Y over x. Cotangent will be x over y. So I go, fine. That's root 3 over 2. All over, negative 1/2. Now, you cannot leave a complex fraction. You can leave it unrationalized. I said y over x is tangent.
Oh,
Cotangent is x over y. So this just simply has to go like that. Cancel, cancel. This is negative root 3. Okay? Similar. let's go up to tangent of 60. We already wrote that ordered pair. 60 is, or tangent is
Toa.
TOA. Yeah, it's TOA. So it's y over x. So that's root 3 over 2 divided by a half. That's root 3 over 2 times 2. That's root 3. Okay? Yeah.
On the quiz tomorrow, you have like cosecant and stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, tomorrow out of all 5 of them is the easiest, right? So hopefully the first one, like I want people to do really well in the first one. So there aren't a ton of them. There are way more on this. This is as hard as it gets right here. Okay? Yeah.
I did with the 30, 60, 90 triangle. Would that work?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Now, these two are easy as long as we can get our ordered pair right. So the sine of pi over 2, I go to this ordered pair. Sine is which one? Y. So what's my answer? 1. So this is done. Cosine of pi, well that's out here. What ordered pair is that? Okay, cosine is x, which is, okay. Now I typically think that these are your easiest, your quadrantal angles, as long as you can label 1, 0, 0, 1, right? You're in really good shape that way. Cosecant of pi over 6. Well, how many degrees is that?
30.
Okay, so I go to my 30 degrees. Cosecant is the reciprocal of which trig function?
Sine.
Sine, which is reverse letter. Sine is which value?
1/2.
Reciprocal of 1/2 is
2.
Okay, now, do you feel a little better than you did before?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, you just went over like super fast. Can you go from number 4 again?
Yep. So my ordered pair of pi is -1, 0.
Yeah.
Cosine is x, -1. Okay.
But you have like no y value. Or actually, you don't need one, do you?
Right, I don't need one. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, for cosine?
No, you don't.
No, I don't need one. Okay? Okay. So, now, I still think these 7 and 12 aren't that bad. Anyone know why? Because they're in degrees. And what could I do to each of those to make my life a little easier? Add 360. That's right. Because if I add 360, what do I get?
Negative 180.
Negative 120. So if I get negative 120, where does that put me? In quadrant 3, which is down here. Now listen, this is the one thing that I can't avoid for you. You have to know the size of that reference angle.
60.
That's 60. So then I just go up to my 60 ordered pair. It's 1/2 root 3 over 2, but they're both what?
Negative.
Negative. Okay? And I want cosecant, which is which variable? Sine. Not my question, but that's fine. So it's the reciprocal of sine, so it's reciprocal of this, which is -2 over root 3.
So it has a negative, like if the questions put a negative.
Yes. Yeah, so the negative's a really big deal. Like if you have a half and it's supposed to be -1/2, you don't get credit. Okay? Okay, so look at how many we've already done that aren't that bad. Okay, we also can do secant of -405, and by not that bad I mean my version, sorry. I still got that look like, Okay, so what do I do to -405? I
Add 360.
it gives me negative
45.
45. Okay, so that puts me in quadrant what? In quadrant 4, which is down here. This is positive root 2 over 2. Whoops. Negative root 2 over 2. And I want the secant, which is the what cosine? Say the word. No. Reciprocal of cosine. So that is 2 over root 2. Okay. Now, we're about to tackle the last 4, but before we do, how are we there?
Okay, I guess.
I think I need
Be
practice.
better.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's better than
I'm gonna show you how to practice. Okay, tonight. And honestly, I don't even sign that many problems tonight because of the bow tie stuff because I want you to practice this.
Are those links that you sent, are those like good?
I'm gonna talk through them. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here's where. What time do I have till?
27.
Can we erase a little bit so?
Yeah. I'm gonna erase everything else besides the picture down here. Okay. All right. So we got 6, 10, 11, and 12. Which of those seems the least bothersome to you?
8.
Okay, so I think it's 10. Here's why. If it ends in 2, think of it as, hey, a pi over 2 is how many degrees? 90, right? So I want to go back 7 sets of 90. So watch. There's 1, there's, say it.
2,
There's,
3,
say it.
4, 5, 6,
7. There's negative 7 pi over 2. I want cotangent, which we said is x over y. What's my answer? 0. Because x over y is 0 over 1. Right?
Oh,
Okay. Better? Okay. Now, the next, look at negative 4 pi over 3. So that's, look at your denominator first. What size reference angle am I talking about? 60. So I'm going back how many 60s? 4. So I go 1, 2, how many is this? 3, 4. I'm up in quadrant 2. I take my 60-degree ordered pair, but now which of those is going to be negative?
1/2.
That's negative. And I want the cosine of it, which at this point seems easy. What's the answer? Negative 1/2. Okay? You see that? Okay. And then, oh, we already did 12, so we just got 11, right? Oh, no, 8. I go back how many, first of all, pi over 4 is how many degrees?
45.
How many sets of 45 am I going back? 5. Okay, ready? Count them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so what's my ordered pair right there?
Negative root 2 over 2 root 2 over 2.
Okay, and my tangent is what?
1. Negative 1.
Yeah, no, be careful. What is tangent? Y over x. So what's it going to be? Negative 1. 1 second. And then the last one is 19 pi over 6. Okay? So your 19 pi over 6, there are a couple ways to do this. First of all, how many pi over 6s is this?
12.
Try to watch what I just said.
Or no, 6.
6. Someone besides Josh. This is 6, right? How many is one full rotation?
12.
12. How many extra do I have to go?
19.
Well, no. How many extra? 7, right? Now, if you wanted to count around, you could. It's annoying, right? Because you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Do you see that thought process? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. What size reference angle is that?
30.
So that is root 3 over 2, 1/2. But what do I know about both of those? They're negative. I want the sign of that. What's my answer?
Negative 1/2.
There. Decent. Okay, so I'm going to take questions here in a minute, but I want to show you the links that I sent you. Now, do not text, but I do want you to look at your phone, please. Don't screw around on your reminds. Yeah, I bet. Okay, so I sent you 2. The first one I sent you is just if you want practice with your unit circle. Now, that to me is something that some people, like, depending on where you are in this process, if you scroll down and click Start Game, it's going to give you different things. So mine says 7 pi over 6. Okay, so I literally just find 7 pi over 6. You'll get used to it, but the further you go out, you have degrees, you have radians, you have ordered pairs, you have tangents in some places. So I click on these and I tell where 7 pi over 6 is. It's down here. So when I click it right, it says, hey, you got it. Okay? You may or may not like this. If you like it and you just need help with the unit circle, there's your link. Okay? On the other hand, what most of you need is the second link. Please go to that. Now, on the second link, I have set it to do one thing, but it seems like when it goes to your phone, you're going to need to reset it. Okay? So I want you to click on all 6 trig functions. Sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, cotangent. Do you see that?
There's more.
Then click on both. You see both? Okay, now watch. The second you turn it, it says rotate to start. It's going to start giving you
Yeah, what is
I get it.
It's gonna give you problems.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that's
That's so
cool.
Why did
But
I
you have to
do that?
rotate it to get it to work.
It might be locked.
Literally?
Lit.
Oh.
And like for mine will rotate when I'm on. Yeah. Like if I
Wait,
rotate it on
slime-
Safari, it'll rotate. So you might need to copy and paste the link.
Is length the number of questions?
Yeah, take it
Yes.
apart.
Yeah, you might need to copy and paste the link.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here is the deal. One thing I just want to point out. Will you look right here? Do you see how this gives answers like 1 over root 2? Okay. They did not rationalize root 2 over 2. So just have that on your radar. Okay, so when you're looking for root 2 over 2, that's their 1 over root 2. Okay? Otherwise, everything else is the same. Okay?
Oh yeah.
Bam.
Okay. Now, this is great practice. So I'm going to show you what your homework is. It's probably what you found to be easier than last night's. Okay? And tomorrow, we're going to come in, take this quiz, and all you're going to do is bow tie stuff after that. Okay, so this is the only time that I go through every single problem like this. After this, I just give you a score and we move on. Okay, so after this, you just got to go to math lab if you're on the short bus. Okay, but do you notice it is the end of Wednesday? How many people are like, okay, I'm starting to get something? Okay, it feels a little better, right? All right, so I just want to point out what you picked up. I got 3 minutes to do it, so I want you to look at take 2 really quickly because I want you to see that it's not overly challenging.
Yeah, I get 3.
Now you picked up an extra sheet that says 4.4. I don't know whose this is, but you're gonna need that later. So, is that yours? Okay. So we're gonna use that tomorrow. We're not gonna get to it today. That's okay. So take 2. Notice in question 4, it just says in what quadrant does it lie. Like these are pretty easy, all things considered, what we've done so far. But what I just want to show you is in number 1. It says the sine of theta is root 17 over 7 and tangent is less than 0. What's that code for? Tangent is negative. Okay, you tell me, in what quadrant is sine positive and tangent negative? Good. Quadrant 2. So I draw an angle. And I know the sine of this angle is root 17 over 7. What do I do with that? What is that?
Pythagorean theorem.
No, that's not at all what I asked. Josh just wanted to make sure he was heard on the video.
No, like don't you do that to find the?
What? Let me go back to my question and maybe zip it for now.
Would it mean the radius is like 7?
You could do it that way. So one thing you could do is 17 and 7, and then Josh use the
Pythagorean theorem.
to find this missing side. That's an option. Okay, who sees that? Okay, there's a good option. The other way you can do it is, what is the sine of theta on the unit circle? It's your y value. So you also could do it as root 17 over 7 as a y value and then use the
Pythagorean theorem.
to find your x value.
So I was right.
Okay, so your only job tonight, do the bow tie part 2 and get ready for your quiz. Okay? You're doing good.
I still got.
Nice
Wow.
meeting you.
Remember how Zana said she was not gonna vote for me?